welcome to this Soul Guidance New Moon reading in Aquarius, which falls on February the 11th, GMT time, 1905. So wherever you're in the world, if you're looking at this video from another part of the world, then do make that reference from your side. But this is for anyone living in Europe, particularly in the UK. All right, so this new moon is going to be quite an emotional one. We've got about 6 or 7 there's a particular stellium of planets, which means a whole collection of planets all in Aquarius. All right, we've got Jupiter, we've got Saturn, we've got Mercury, which has gone retrograde, we've got Venus, and we've got the Sun conjunct the moon, which is why it makes it the new moon. So for me, this new moon reading really brings up will be bringing up as well, and the message I want to convey is that's going to bring up a lot of emotions possibly for people to sift through. Capricorn new moon was a lot about new beginnings, and the energy of that is always going to be sort of, you know, for the several weeks ahead, for 6 months at least. So whatever intention you put out, but each moon brings a different form of energy. And interestingly, the chakra card that I got for this new moon, which I think is really poignant, is the card of forgiveness. Okay, it's a heart chakra. So like I do each month, I always navigate the terrain and encourage people to use a chakra that will support you from this new moon and to the next new moon, which will also fall around about, I think, the 13th of March, I believe. So the new moon energy is from this new moon to this reading. So if you need to come back to it in the month, do, because there'll be messages possibly that will make more sense for you. But it is to do with the heart chakra, it's to do with forgiveness. So this new moon, like I was about to say, is very much about relationships. So it can actually bring a lot of old debris up, of emotions that maybe been unresolved, any grudges that we could be holding on to, or anything that's been also swimming around in our individual lives, collectively as well. Of course, there's always something going on collectively. And this is a soul guidance reading for those who are tuning into it. If you're here, there'll be a message for you, but it is a collective, as in for many people. Okay, I don't do monthly astrology readings currently, although I do think of it now and again, whether I should go down that route or not. But for now, it is a new moon reading that I do, and a full moon each month. So for this forgiveness, I want you to be able to go really inward and then really connect with your heart, and possibly put your hand on your heart and really ask yourself, who do I need to forgive? Okay, there is definitely some forgiveness that's required, and there are people who are always going to betray us, let us down, piss us off, do all kinds of things, and maybe not even consider your needs, all right? Particularly around, you know, we're all in this sort of COVID environment, not all actually, some, I notice some people are, you know, I believe in sort of places like in Italy, they don't really care. They're still going out to cafes, they're still not really sort of adhering, you know, people I've also been here in, some of them are really unconscious, or rather deciding to be very, as if it doesn't affect them. Okay, so they're completely mingling in, they think it's all a big conspiracy. And maybe we want to forgive people like that, because I don't think people even realize that they could be carriers and whatever. So I'm not going to really go there, but there is definitely some forgiveness that needs to happen on a personal scale, as well as possibly maybe on a bigger scale. All right, we are all shifting, we're all ascending, we're all also making changes within ourselves. And in order to make progress, in order to move forward, we do need to let go of the old, and it could be any emotional debris we could be carrying. So the heart chakra is something you could be doing. I will be starting making recordings of the support for the each month chakra, which I will be putting and uploading. So I won't be doing it for this month actually, but I will be starting to do some sound chakra healing sounds for people to actually on the back of this, and they'll be about 10 minutes long, 20 maximum, where they'll be also uploaded on YouTube, or possibly on a maybe on cloud as well, because it'd be a sound healing meditation and some affirmations. But the affirmation for this particular chakra is, my heart is full of unconditional love and I forgive freely. So I repeat that. My heart is full of unconditional love and I forgive freely. Okay, so, ask yourself if there's something that you need to, let go of. Is there anything I'm holding on to? Is there some love? We've got Valentine's coming up 3 days after this new moon as well. So some of you actually can also be really kind of being aware that maybe your relationship is not working out, or it needs really kind of like refining, or perhaps you're in a situation with your partner or a family member or some friends who you feel are actually not putting their weight, or maybe you even need to let go of. Perhaps they've hurt you, or they've not even considered your feelings, or maybe even not even realized the consequences of their lack of action, as well as their action could have actually affected you. So in order to really kind of release and not carry the pain, okay, because we can only allow something new and fresh to come in when we're not holding on to the old, okay? It's like having a massive emotional clear out. But do allow yourself to truly forgive and let go so you can set yourself free from those stale energies and beliefs, and so deep healing can happen at its core. So I'm going to leave that for now, but do look up any other, because I'm always sending people to other channels, of course, on the YouTube for the healing. But I thought, as I do these sound chakras myself, and I also do have some a playlist of very specific relational chakra healing they can actually check out, and I do have 1 or 2 actually to do with cutting the cord, forgiveness as well, so please do look at that, and the emphasis on that would be on the heart chakra as well, but generally they had 2, 3 other chakras in it to do with holding on to your power possibly, or claiming your power, and then also the forgiveness work. But moving on to the new moon reading, I've already got some cards spread down. They're actually facing down. I've got 3 cards from the Energy Oracle, which I'm using today, and that's from Sandra Ann Taylor's Oracle deck. Okay, and they're 3 facing down. I haven't seen them yet. I've got the Moonology, which I also do, from Yasmin Boland's deck, which I've always used for the monthlies. They're facing down, but the only one I haven't got yet even out is the final card as to what the outcome of this new moon energy could be. So let's get into it straight away. So I'm going to start with the first card that I've just turned around, and this is the Angel of Balance. So we're going to be coming into balancing the scales here. And I really feel, personally myself, that this is to do very much with the energy that we're giving out and the energy that we're actually sort of bringing into our lives, maybe reviewing to do with relationships as well as about where do we put the energy out to people and where are we not getting it back? Where are we putting the energy out to work and where we do feel like we're getting it back? Or are we one of those people that are actually always taking the energy and then not actually sort of passing the energy forward? But there's definitely an element of balance here. And this is the energy that we need to be looking at and coming into this new moon. So I really feel it's to do with the energy of reciprocation, equal give and take, which is very heart chakra as well. Okay, it's no point being a martyr and being there for people who don't actually honor you or respect you. Okay, last month's full moon message was to love yourself fiercely. Okay, now, like I already say, each month there's a crossover between the full moon to the full moon because we've got a new moon in the middle of it, and this is a new moon that's in the middle of this, and I really feel that this also still is that energy. So where do we need to forgive? Where we're loving ourselves fiercely now, that we're noticing that actually people haven't got the same regard, or are saying they're going to do something and they don't do it, and you keep on allowing it, making excuses, or the relationship is actually unhealthy in some way. So you might want to check the balance on that as well. The other thing sometimes also could happen is that we can actually make new, have sort of friends, colleagues that we actually work for, but now that we're not really working in the office space anymore, or in the actual sort of space anymore, and you're feeling that actually, we had something there, but, everything is moving in transient, and maybe that friendship actually is not really something you want to have anymore. Okay, it is sometimes really tricky to let go of friendships, but everything is impermanent, and that includes people in our lives. And some people come into our lives for a short duration to be there as part of your existence in that moment or during that time, and other times it's actually about moving forward because maybe you've done the changing, or maybe they're really not your cup of tea, but you were put together for a reason and it is time to move on. So I really feel there's a lot of that happening. Oh, well, there you go. Look, the second card here is Journey, which is also about very much, you can see the image there. She is actually saying goodbye. She's got a trunk packed there, different signposts, and a handkerchief. So this is for sure, this is the essence, the main essence. I really feel that there's a lot of letting go going on here, saying goodbye maybe to your old place of work, saying goodbye to people who've come into your life for a while. I would say, I keep on coming back to that. And also, perhaps also really going in a new direction as well. Okay, we're into the second month, the second new moon. So this is possibly saying goodbye and leaving behind certain things as well to do with things, you know, items of things, as well as people, as well as habits, and taking a new journey, really honoring where you are being shown and guided to move towards. Okay, the final card here, wow. Okay, also the Sacral Chakra. Now the Sacral Chakra, if anybody knows anything about the Sacral Chakra, this is a chakra to do with relationships, okay? This is to do with your self-expression and how you're in harmony with people, or are you in harmony with people around you, okay? This is also the birth of your creativity, money, and communication, as in your honesty around your connections to people. Okay, so again, calling in the Archangel Ariel will also really help to possibly cut the cords, okay, with certain people in our lives. Okay, sexual cords also really come from the sacral chakra as well. So we've got both the heart chakra and the sacral chakra, which are both two very key chakras when it comes to relating. Okay, the heart chakra is to do with the unconditional loveness of life, and being open-hearted, but also our connection to people happen from the sacral chakra as well, particularly sexual energy, okay? Any distortion, any kind of sense of codependency, you know, also stems from your sacral chakra as well, and particularly if we're not being honest with ourselves, okay? You know, the point is, if you've got a wounded sacral chakra, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to be working as a martyr or connecting to people from that martyr level, out of guilt, out of feeling bad, you know, kind of more the dense energies of where the heart is coming from, okay? You know, while there's unconditional love, there's also a different kind of density, okay? You want to be aiming for the light love, okay, or light love, or love light, okay, but not the dense energy, okay? There's different shades of gray, and only you know on your personal scale where you are with certain people. Okay, you can have a love that's really screwed up, that's really unhealthy, where you're arguing, screaming all the time, or where you've, you know, maybe have not actually reconciled some guilt, some kind of, what you call it, indiscretion, you know, and you've got holding that burden, you know, in your heart, and perhaps you need to also forgive yourself for doing that, and forgive maybe at the time your partner who maybe you feel that you're blaming, that sent you over that edge to actually be unfaithful, possibly in your marriage or whatever it is. But these are the things that's coming through right now to me, and you know, definitely forgiveness work needs to happen in order for us to sort of create a new pathway, a new heart opening, and what that is actually much more joyous and not restrictive. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, which I've also got here, which I already turned over because this was at the bottom, was the Magician and the Mirror, which also I always find to be the Alchemist. So this for me is really looking at your life through the mirror, really honestly looking at what is there. Okay, it's amazing how we can actually be holding on to friendships or situations or people. And when we really look at it honestly, you know, with all its flaws, with all its, you know, the truth of it, you know, by looking at it truthfully and writing it down, possibly to sort of actually sort of asking yourself, does this really fulfill me? Okay, that is the one question you need to only ask. Does this friendship, partnership, this relationship, this job fulfill me? Okay, that's a real heart space chakra as well, right? And if your answer is a no, then you need to really look at why you're even there, okay? Because if you're not living a life of fulfillment, you're certainly not going to be having a particularly good time, or feeling really hard done by, or actually finding your energy is quite dense. You want to be aiming for fulfillment, okay? I once made a decision at the age of 35 when I was in a partnership then, you know, you know, I knew the partnership, it was fine, you know, but that was exactly, it was just fine. It was very okay, you know, but when I asked that $10 million question, is this relationship fulfilling me? The answer was a point blank no. I didn't hesitate to end it. I just didn't think, what was the point of staying with a boyfriend, with a guy who really technically I wasn't feeling fulfilled with? You know, sex was great, but other than that, it wasn't really all that. So, you know, we hold on to things without even realizing. So we've got to get really upfront and close and get to the mirror and really ask yourself these kind of questions to really liberate you so you can actually move towards a life that's much more vibrant and much more empowering and alive and active. Okay, we're not here to be the living dead, we're here to be alive. Okay, so that is really, really important. Okay, you might find that in order for that to happen, just behind there is there's a storm warning card. So maybe there's some kind of, you know, shit's going to hit the fan. Maybe some problems are going to happen. But again, it's worth it, okay? Move through maybe whatever needs to move through. If you need to actually sort of, you know, or you might have come from this place where things are really quite stormy in your life at the moment. You're feeling maybe really moody and really dark, and maybe you want to check in with yourself as to why that is happening. But I do feel it's to do with very much the main message is to be letting go of and moving forward, okay? If there's any balance that is being tipped, you know, and you're finding that you're the one doing the calling, you're doing the one that's always the grooving, the one that connecting and stuff like that, maybe you need to actually take stock and pull back and then just actually tip the balance or let the balance, you know, come to harmony. Okay, so it's an even scale, if you like. Okay, let's move on. I've got the moon cards here, which I'm about to turn over. Okay, well, okay, so this is now time to release negativity as well. So, you know, like I said, really remove anything that's not on an even keel. You know, it could be a mental state as well. All right, so really check in that it's your stuff and not somebody else's. And, you know, journaling does really help to make that, give you that clarity. Okay, now if, you know, your intention in life or wherever it is to actually be moving towards, you know, friendships or relationships that are actually harmonizing or fulfilling. Okay, also know that if that is your goal, to put it out there, because it is really important that you can actually aim for those goals. And some of you, I believe, that would have put that possibly for your January new moon as well. Okay, now new moons are always about intentions. I found that the last, if I remember rightly, the new moon in January was very much about completion as well. Okay, but the new moon intentions are out there, and to know that some of you are be very close to achieving that. So perhaps in the letting go of any negative situations or people holding you back, or you being able to start recognizing that you need to tip the balance, that you're actually very close to actually moving towards getting the kind of relationships you want, getting the kind of jobs that fulfill you as well. Okay, so not to lose heart, but you do need to let go. We do need to make space for it, which is definitely what needs to happen. All right, do some inner healing as well in your sacral chakra. Tune into that. I might have a quick look at that card shortly, I mean, into the little notes there. Okay, the other card here in the center is know that you are loved, okay, and you're also safe. So this is a card about you being loved and you being safe, and hold on to your vision. Okay, these two cards also fell out, so I put them both face down. But this is, again, very similar to knowing that your vision, hold on to it. So if you're not actually seeing the results, you will come to the results that you've put out, the intention that you've put out, rather. All right, and that you are to hold on to what you really want. Okay, now I read something in the last few days that really was very helpful, and I forget the author's name actually, and I will mention that another time. But the point that I got, the nugget that I got from reading this book, and you know, we put our intentions out there, and we say, oh, put your desires out there. And, you know, and if you've had a hard time, you know, making those desires come true, or you've had a hard time with relationships broken down, maybe you thought that you know, you had a partner that was it, and then it's all broken down and it's not it, the one, you know, it's really hard to start believing that you can actually have what you want, your desires, or maybe your desires, your mind gets in the way and saying, yeah, you know, well, but you know what, there was a huge distinction in this book, and it says, I choose to live this way. So for me, for example, or for anyone, you know, I would say I choose to have friends who actually really reward me with the feeling of love, or I choose friends who are loving. You know, I choose partnerships, you know, and it's not I desire partnerships, because a desire feels like it's something that you're kind of reaching for, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I desire it, right? But if you actually look at it from the point of I choose to have, there's a sense of self-charge here, a sense of self-love, a sense of making choices that serve that truth, that meet that truth. Okay, so hold on to your vision, and maybe you want to put your intentions. I choose to live in this way. I choose to live in XYZ. I choose to work only for people who have these values, okay, rather than desire. So let's reframe the language to make it actually much more realistic and much more congruent and alignment, okay? Because when we don't feel aligned with what we really want, or words, in fact, all right, it's hard sometimes to really kind of get really into that congruency and that mode of truth for ourselves. But I have a message here anyway, by the by, that you and your loved ones are safe. So if anybody's worried about anything, you know, just know that you are safe, all right? And just trust as well in the bigger picture of things sometimes. Okay, I do know of people who have actually lost their loved ones as well, you know, but perhaps, you know, it happens for a reason. Everything always happens for a reason as well. But just trust that you are actually safe. This is a message for one or two of you. Maybe you're afraid about something happening, whatever that could be. Okay, whoever that's speaking to. Okay, so that is a nice, another message. Now I have another card I want to pull out, which I don't have to pull out because it's here. Okay, and that's come. And again, this is also, which is quite good actually, about the letting go. Don't let pride get in your way. So, you know, really notice what, you know, by tipping the balance, there's also about not necessarily getting rid of, but perhaps how can you create a win-win situation, right? How can you actually really get to a resolution within certain relationships as well? Perhaps be able to have more empathy, maybe trusting that they have their own story going, but don't let pride get in the way, okay? We can resolve things in a very adult way by communicating your truth, I would say as well, and speaking your truth as well, and also actually not continuing the relationship, but actually coming from a place of what is true to you, okay? But if you let your pride, say for example, in the way you might feel like you don't want to speak to that person anymore, or you're just going to leave it hanging like on a cliffhanger, and just not resolve it, okay? Best to clear the decks, so to be, you know, to be truthful. All right, okay, we are kind of, you know, coming to an end of some kind of cycle here as well. So it is really, really important that we move through and not let the past hold us back. This is now a real time to be moving through and really clearing out the debris, the clutter, be it in your own home, personal clutter, as well as people clutter, okay? Holding on to people can be clutter, okay? People who are bringing their own agenda, mindlessly, you know, without thought, say for example, and imposing, you know, maybe emotionally dumping, could also be holding you back, okay? Some of you might be wanting to move forward, and like I said, in order to do that, you know, in order to release, you do need to let go of your past. So wherever you are this new moon, you can really intend to release anything that does not serve you, put your intentions out there in the sense of choice, and know that you have the power to choose the kind of people you want around, choose the life that you want to have, and choose where you want to go in life. There might be certain limitations, but we can certainly do the planning of that. All right, so moving on, I am going to use the surrender deck. Okay, now the first card that flipped out here is surrender denial. Okay, it says here, accept people and situations as exactly as they are, without denying the difficulties, okay, which I think is really poignant. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decision. Again, in order to make the decision, you make a choice. Okay, there always has to be a choice before you make the decision, or you make the decision, then you can choose. Either way, okay, this is actually really good. So really see things as they are. Okay, really, you know, don't bring the past into it. You might sort of think, oh yeah, well, before he was like this, or she was like that, and she was all right, and maybe she's just going through this phase, and maybe he's being like this and all that. See it for exactly as it is. Okay, really look at people's actions. Like I said, look at the mirror. Okay, and really get into the reality of a situation, and then you just accept it. Don't expect people to change. If somebody doesn't call you back, when they say they will, and they've done it once or twice. That's the reality. All right. If somebody also is always dumping on you or always bringing some emotional labor into your space, you know, and they're unable to actually sort of kind of get themselves out of that emotional rut, then it's maybe not your place to fix them or to sort them out. Okay. See it for what it is. Maybe you are moved to help these people, okay, or somebody in your life, or deal with it. Okay. But at least you can make the decision. See it for what it is. You know, somebody's got an addiction problem or somebody's drinking heavily, right? You want to see that and make the decision. Do I want to stay with somebody who drinks a lot, or do I want to move on from somebody who always wants to drink? Okay, when we see things as they are, no matter how difficult, and we're honest about it, we can actually move through and make decisions that best serve our self. Okay, now this is not a selfish thing, but I'm talking about in a healthy way. All right, so I think I'm just going to choose one more. It's just flipped out. Okay, so for some of you as well, I'm getting this as well, you know, honor your body, you know, just surrender to rest and sleep. So some of you actually might find that you wanting to take more rest and more sleep. So really tune into that as well. You know, the energy can be quite fluctuating at the moment as well. So, you know, especially with all these planets in Aquarius. Aquarius is all the air sign. It's always been up in the head. It can be very exhausting to be an Aquarian. Take it from me, I'm one. And there are times I can really be in my head. Oh my God. Anyway, but then of course there are times to surrender, you know, to rest and sleep. And if you like to look behind you, she's got all these trees there as well. So go for a walk out in nature, you know, really ground yourself, which is something I always say each week, each month, each vlog, right? And really just take stock, you know, and to start, you know, yesterday actually myself, I just stayed indoors all day. You know, I just chilled out. I just read. I was very quiet. I didn't go on the internet. I didn't do anything. I didn't communicate with anybody in particular. You know, I just read, and I was just, you know, had a nap, and I just kind of was in this state actually, and just kind of just resting it off. I went, had a nap, you know, slept for a couple of hours. So again, to prevent burnout, slow down. Honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. So this is the message I've got for you for this new moon. So, you know, do give yourself the rest that you might require. Honor it. Okay, especially from those people who actually, when you're working from home now, if you're not having to go into work, you know, you have more scope for that, you know. I'm not quite so sure how it works for people who are on telephone advising and actually sort of working from home that way. But, you know, I would say just whenever you can, just switch off, even just for 5 minutes, just tune in, get quiet, you know, maybe feel your heart, you know, feel the heartbeat and just restore. But if you can actually rest and sleep, I really recommend it as well. Okay, so here's my final card from the Empowering Question deck. It says here, am I focusing more on what my life looks like than on what it feels like? A really good question. So, you know, really good question here. All right. This is also about being very heady in Aquarius mode. Okay. When you're worried about what it looks like, it's all about the image and all about, does it look cool, whatever it is. Okay. Or what it feels like. Okay. The feeling is dropping into the heart. So, you know, take this next new moon or these next several weeks, dropping into your body. Okay, so you know what it feels like, you know, when you speak to somebody or whatever you're doing, you know, moving towards something, what does it make you feel? Okay, the feeling is what is important. Okay, if you're worried about having to sort of say no to somebody and it's going to look bad, you know, trust your feelings. Just trust what's coming up for you. Okay, so I'd really say that is what one of the messages are, is to tune in to what feels, what you need to feel. All right, and which also brings me to my guided message that I always ask, and then for some reason I've really left it to the end today, is I've got here, loosen your grip and let go. So there's a letting go, which is really interesting, and release, okay? I'm going to in fact show it to you. Okay, I tend to do these before I do my vlogs, before any of the cards are opened or anything. I tune in and ask for a prayer, what would be the most conducive or force for good message for anybody viewing. Okay, so, and sometimes they're kind of quite big, and I'll untangle it. So I think whatever it is, loosen your grip for me would be, you know, getting the balance right. You know, if you're kind of like in a tug of war between your mind and your heart, okay, maybe sometimes just let it go, just let it sit. You know, let the divine take over. Offer it to Source, offer it to God, offer it to Jesus, offer it to Buddha, whatever your spiritual, you know, essence or the outward guidance that you ask for. Just let it go. Sometimes we can't actually try and make sense of why something is happening. All right. Now I do feel that let go. So let go is a double whammy. Let go of that situation, as well as let go of possibly, you know, a person or the job or whatever it is that's not actually fulfilling you. Okay. Now we've also got the double whammy here because I also got another word, release. So this is both let go and just release it. Just give it up. Just let it go. All right. Now I also got breathe in and out, to breathe out and in. Okay. But this is about taking stock and taking, letting that, you know, the energy of the in and out, you know, which is also very this. When you're sort of resting and sleeping, you're allowing your breath to slow down and to sort of, you know, sort of recalibrate. Okay, so do tune in, you know, and take stock. And even if it's just for 2-3 minutes, just let yourself breathe in, take the air in, and then breathing out. A few cycles of breath like that would really, really help. Okay, and I've got this really interesting as well, change people. So really, wow, you know, it really is to do with, I think there is that sense of forgiveness that, like I said, we need to do. But I've got this arrow thing here because I got the message being people will change, right? You know, so maybe give them a chance so people can change, right? Or also change people in your life. So wherever that is, you know, just notice how that sits for you. Okay, if you get in the resonance clearly that you need to really let go of some people, by changing, by really saying letting go, you're allowing people, new people to come into your life. Sometimes we just need to clear out. You know, it's like clearing out our old clothes, clearing out the closet or whatever it is for new things to happen. And it's the same with people in our lives. It's never easy, but sometimes we just need to do that. Okay, and sometimes we just can't get rid of certain people that we really don't want in our life, but we can also change the way we work with them or how we engage with them. So there is that very much the message. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Just tune into what things feel like for you. All right, so I wish you all the best and much love on this new moon. On the 11th of February, do write your intentions and, you know, keep it small, keep it, you know, no more than 10, you know, but maybe you want to start putting down the intentions of what you want to dream up, okay, and just say, I choose, all right? I think let's try it out for size. I think it just sounds so much better than I desire. Yeah, it just seems to really kind of make a difference for me. And that distinction was really powerful. And I thought, oh, that just sounds so much kind of doable because you're choosing it. It comes from here, whereas desire is somewhere up here, isn't it? Anyway, lots of love. Yeah, balance things out. Tune into your sacral chakra as well. You know, you can, like I said, ask, call in on Archangel Ariel to help balance your sacral chakra as well, and to release any toxic, stagnant energy towards people or situations. This will also really help to recalibrate and reharmonize and certainly rejuvenate your sacral chakra. And you never have to do it on your own. There's always support there. Okay, so lots of love. I will catch you and record the full moon for the full moon. And all my details are below in the description box. Donations are always more than welcome. Do put your comments or anything else that you might want to suggest. And keep, press on that subscription as well, subscribe, because I might start uploading some other videos that are kind of beginning to sort of filter through as what I might start doing. And I might start doing some kind of self-love monthly tune-ups for people as well. Okay, on the back of Valentine's, it might be more about self-love than worrying about the other person, which what a lot of the other readers do. And I'm much more interested about who are you and how are you showing up in order to really get the love that you really desire. So on that note, again, lots of love. I'm going to end it here. Namaste. And yeah, I'll see you another time. Bye for now. Bye.